Oh, it worked this time. Woohoo! Love it when things work. It wasn't working. Imagine that. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. My name is Jessie. I'm with Decker Truck Line, and I am just going to get some of the housekeeping out of the way here for us. If during any of if during any of this you have any questions whatsoever, please make sure that you either leave it in the chat section so that I can answer it for you right here, right now, and get you all the details, or you can obviously call one of our recruiters at 888-668-0698. And if any of this sounds like what you're looking for, if you're going to be a good fit for it, then definitely you can apply at drivedecker.com. Again, that's drivedecker.com. I did put it in the chat, decker.com. I did put it in the chat section for you to see. And speaking of chat section, I am going to get you a copy of what our trucks look like in the inside, because that is usually that's one of the main questions that I get when it comes to what trucks we have for the lease purchase. And that's right. That's what we're talking about, lease purchase for Decker Truck Line. So let me get you information on the actual, or the video on the actual interior of the trucks. I'm gonna figure out where to put it. Something I should have had handy. Imagine that. Interior. There we go. All right. Hi, Bob. How are you? How goes it? Let's see. Is this the one? It was a pretty shaky video that I created, so let's see if this is it. Yep, it's shaky. Shaky as in handheld, walking around, moving around with it. Long time no chat. Toasty. What you talking about, Toasty? There you go. There you can actually see the inside of the truck. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys. Cool beans. We are talking about the lease purchase. We talked a little bit about this yesterday on our Facebook Live. So if you missed that, you can check it out, or you can check it out here. 90 degrees in Oklahoma. It is probably 56 where I'm at in Montana, but we do run west in our flatbed now. So our southern flatbed, we call it our southern flatbed because it's based out of Bessemer, Alabama. 90 is perfect, I think. If you're talking about 56 being perfect, it's cold for me. I'm a wuss. So let's talk about lease purchase. A couple of different divisions. I have refrigerated and I have flatbed. It is a requirement that you do run as a company driver for 90 days first before you transition into the lease purchase. But here's key. You need to make sure that you meet the qualifications in order to transition from the lease purchase, or excuse me, from company to lease purchase. And the best way to know if you're going to be a good fit once you're a company driver is your scorecard. So cheat sheet, this is our scorecard, and this is what I refer to. And your driver manager will be handy, or have one handy with your numbers, and that will help to determine if you're going to be a good fit for the lease purchase. It is not for everybody. I mean, flat out, I can tell you right off the bat, it is not a good fit for everybody. It works out really well for some, but you know, if your numbers are low on your scorecard, then you have things that you need to work on to improve before you can be successful in the lease purchase. Whether it's the communication with you and your driver manager to get your miles up, or if it's on-time deliveries, could be CSA score, whatever it might be. Those are all critical indicators on whether or not you would be a good fit for the lease purchase program. So I want to lay that out on the line first to make sure that you have a complete understanding of that. So if you have any questions whatsoever about our scorecard, please go ahead, leave it in the section or in the chat section, and let's answer those. If you just want more details on what the lease purchase is about, of course, leave that in there as well. But otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and give you a little bit more detail on how you can transition from company to lease purchase. So with the company, you'll need to run 90 days first, whether it's refrigerated or flatbed, preferably the division that you'd be going into as lease purchase, because we want to make sure that your numbers are consistent and that they're high enough that you're going to be successful in that division. So if you're going to start, let's talk about the Western division to start off with. If you're going to start in the over-the-road refrigerated, which runs mostly west of the Mississippi, it runs coast to coast, but it is mostly west. That one's going to have an average length of haul of a little over 1,100. So great long miles. It's good for somebody who likes to kind of be on their own and do their thing. Awesome. See, there you go. You love your lease purchase. So tell us more about it. Tell us more, what are the pluses? What are the negatives as well? Keep the hammer down. Go ahead. Feel free to chime in whenever you want. But with the over-the-road refrigerated, you've got some consistent miles, 27 to 3,200. We've got guys doing that on a consistent basis. And with the $1 a mile that you're getting paid with the lease purchase, $1 a mile plus the fuel surcharge on all dispatch miles be coming over around anywhere from $1,300 to $1,500 a week bringing home. But as a company driver, if you're not consistently getting those miles, whether, like I said, if it's on-time delivery is getting into your effect, maybe it's being affected because your driver manager knew, maybe you don't have the right communication. We have our Qualcomm, we have our phone system, which we just upgraded to make sure that we are even easier to get a hold of for all of our drivers, as well as others trying to get a hold of us. We want to make sure that we are accessible in all ways. We have the TransFlow app, Pegasus. If you need to get a hold of us over the Qualcomm, you've got access to us that as well. So make sure that you reach out and touch base with your driver manager so that if and running, like I said before, this is a great division for that. Be on your own and running and have that longer length of haul. Do your thing, time out your loads, then you'll probably do well. If you're in the Midwest division, or even in some of the areas in the Western division, you can have more contact with your driver manager because you're on more loads. You're on shorter loads, so you're going to be transitioning from one to the next. You might T-call a little bit more often just to keep you moving. But that doesn't mean you're going to get less miles. It just means that you might have to work a little bit harder for them, depending on, again, length of haul, because that's really the difference between it. So sorry, reading the comments. So with the company position, run for 90 days. Make sure that your scorecard that we've got handy here, make sure that your numbers are up. We want you to be up over 900 so that you're consistently over 900 in those 3 months so that we can get you into the lease purchase truck if that's what you had in mind. The trucks are mostly the 579 Peterbilts, which is what the video is that I put in the comments in the chat box here. So you can check that out at a later time. So that's the 579 Pete's. Their newer model. We've got a 4-year lease term, and it's 4 years on the brand new truck, but you can choose an older truck if you wish. And the reason I bring that up is because a lot of people you get into your truck as a company driver, you like it, it feels good, you want to keep that one. Let's see if we can transition that into the lease purchase. So if it's a year or two old, then in that case, you'll knock off a year or two of your lease purchase contract in order to keep that truck. There's a $1,500 down payment for the lease purchase, and you can either just put that aside every single week. If you put it aside, I think it ends up being like $113, $115, somewhere around there, a week that you put aside during those 90 days in order to have that $1,500 ready to go once you start your lease purchase. Then we also have, I'm trying to think what I'm missing on that part. $1,500. If you chose to do the lease purchase, but you wanted to, even put $50 aside, you can do that. You don't have to put the 113. You don't have to start at 90 days. If you want to get more comfortable and you want to start at 120 days or a year down the road, that's fine. As long as we've got available trucks for the lease purchase, then we can transition you if you meet the requirements of the scorecard. So let's talk about that scorecard real quick. Miles, service claims or claims of any sort, service failures, preventable accidents, CSA violations. Those are the factors that your points or your scores are all based off of. And if you're 900 or above on a consistent basis, then you're probably going to be a good fit for the lease purchase program. Whether you're talking about the refrigerated or the flatbed division. So continuing to talk about the refrigerated division, once you've met the requirements, once you've decided that you're going to do lease purchase, you've paid the $1,500 down payment, then you can get into your truck. We'll get you probably to Fort Dodge, get into your truck, go review the lease agreement, make sure that it fits you well, and then get you dispatched out. So we try to keep you with the same dispatcher. Sometimes we might have to move dispatchers depending on who works with the lease purchase, but we manage it the same with the lease purchase as we do our company drivers and our owner operators. So a question I get all the time is, well, the company drivers get, or maybe the lease purchase, they get first dibs. That's not the case. Here at Decker, it's first come, first serve. So if you are at a shipper or a receiver, and well, if you're at a shipper and you arrived first, and it's maybe an open time slot, then you're going to go in first. If your appointment is ahead of somebody else's, if it's an appointment time, then that's obviously going to be a little bit different, but it's first come, first serve. An owner operator is not going to have precedence over a company driver or vice versa. We want to make sure that everybody is getting the miles, that the miles are consistent, and that they are good miles, so that you're going to make a good living off of it. We want to see you succeed. We definitely don't want to see anybody fail at this. So that being said, that is our transition from our company to lease purchase. And then you want to continue to keep the momentum, continue to make sure that your scorecard is up, because that's also going to affect your monthly bonus. Now, I did mention that the pay per mile is $1 a mile plus the fuel surcharge. So it's on all dispatch miles, loaded and empty. Then every year on your anniversary, you're going to get a penny raise. We bump it up. It's a penny raise until I think $1.05. So 5 years in is when you max out at this point where you'd max out for the pay. That does not include your bonuses though. So every month you have the opportunity to make an extra 3 cents a mile based off of your scorecard numbers. Yeah, not everybody is getting the 3,200 miles a week. We've got guys that are doing it. Keep the hammer down. We definitely have guys that are doing it, but not everybody. And that's why one of the main reasons we hone in on the scorecard and the miles that you get there is to make sure that, yes, you can manage your time to get those miles. If you're not getting them consistently, 28, 2,900, if you're not getting those, then it's probably not a good fit for you for the lease purchase. So you have an extra 3 cents a mile that you can get based off of the monthly scorecard. And then with the extra pays, if you get on a short haul or something like that, we would pay you extra per mile for that. Extra stop and pick pay, accessorial pay is 75% of what is paid out. You're paid 75% of what Decker gets. You get 100% reimbursed for the extra stop and pick pay. And what am I missing? You're reimbursed 100% of the lumpers. Nope, we're good. You're paid 100% or reimbursed 100% for all of the lumpers that the shipper pays. We also have, for additional expenses, let's kind of break down some of those so you know what you're going to be expecting on a weekly basis. Okay, so you've got your dollar a mile. Again, this is our refrigerated division. Whether you're talking about our over-the-road based out of Missoula or you're talking about our Fort Dodge terminal, we have the refrigerated option in both. The difference is going to be the length of haul, so keep that in mind. Midwest, shorter length of haul. Western, longer length of haul. Still get great miles in all of them, but again, you get a little bit extra on anything that's 400 miles or less on the loaded side. So you get an extra pay to kind of cushion the time that it takes for you to get those extra loads. Okay, so you've got $1 a mile fuel surcharge. You've got your monthly bonus option or scorecard that you can get. But let's talk about the weekly deductions. The truck payment is $650 a week. $650 a week, and then you've got your insurances. Insurance, $97, almost $90, $98. You've got your $22.90 highway tax, it's $10.58. Your fuel tax, about $21. Now those are our estimates based off of where you're running. DEF, $20. You do definitely get our fuel discount. So that's really important to know as well. If you are going off of our fuel routes, that can save you a significant amount of money. So make sure that you're following our fuel routes. If you don't, you miss out on the savings. And I mean, you can choose not to, but you miss out on the savings, and then you're eating a lot of money. And you have to treat this as a business. Lease purchase, owner operator, that's a business. I mean, it might not be a business that you have multiple employees. It's still a business, and you need to treat it that way. That type of mindset will keep you successful. So the truck payment is $650 with your other expenses. We also have a maintenance account. This maintenance service account is 8 cents per mile on all the miles that you run. So it's 8 cents a mile that goes into a service plan. This is going to cover you in addition to your warranty, your truck warranty that you have. But this is going to cover you with any service or maintenance expenses. And I use the example of oil, tires, batteries all the time, because those are things that they can add up. I mean, if you have to replace 4 batteries, that's going to add up. Not everybody has that money set aside. So that maintenance service plan goes into an escrow. Basically, we don't have you put in more than $10,000, but we have that build up. So whether or not you need it, it is there. It's not uncommon to need more than what you have built up. And so that's the benefit of it. Whether or not you have 10,000 in there, or let's use a smaller number. Maybe you just started and you need to replace 10 tires. It'd suck, but maybe you need to replace 10 tires. Well, you don't have all that money set aside. You just started. Then maybe you only had 800 set aside. Well, don't worry, that's all going to be covered under that maintenance service plan. Now, again, these are newer trucks, so you shouldn't have to worry about the tires, but you just don't know what happens out there. You don't know what kind of things that you can run into on the road. So that was my example. The maintenance service plan, 8 cents a mile. Then you also have a security escrow. Now, this security escrow will build until $2,000. You can use it for a couple of different things. It was designed to cover if you have any, if maybe you had a claim of some sort, or you needed it for that. So that security escrow will cover that deductible. However, some people have used it for, they're going on vacation and they wanted to make sure that their truck payment was covered, something like that. Then you can use it for that. But at that point, once you use it, you're going to need to build up your security reserve again. So your security escrow. So you'll continue to have it at that 2,000 or build it to that 2,000 at least. So it's 2 cents a mile on all the miles that you run, build it up to 2,000, and then keep it there. Or if you need to use it, just know that you're going to build it back up. That reminds me, when you transition from company to lease purchase, the first 2 payments are deferred. So the first 2 weeks of $650, that's deferred. So keep that in mind. The fuel efficiency on the truck, since it's part of your obviously expenses, With the over-the-road refrigerated, we see about 7.2 for an average both for the Midwest and the Western refrigerated. That's about what you've been getting, is about 7.2 for an average miles per gallon on that. I feel like I'm speeding through all this. So if you feel like you have questions, go ahead and leave the comments in there. Let's talk about flatbed. Now I've got 2 different flatbed divisions, and they vary significantly, mostly because my Midwest flatbed, that one, you get home on a weekly basis. You're running a lot shorter runs in that one. And so your miles are going to be affected more than the Southern flatbed. Now you can still have success in both of them, but they're totally different styles of running. And when you're running with my Southern flatbed out of Bessemer, so hopefully this isn't deceiving. We call it our Southern flatbed. It's our over-the-road flatbed. It runs coast to coast. It runs in the Midwest. It runs in the Southeast. It runs in Oregon and Washington and California. I mean, it runs out west as well. So that one has a lot longer length of haul than my Midwest. So that's obviously going to affect your fuel efficiency, and it's going to affect the number of miles that you run and all that good stuff. So keep that in mind, because you're looking at, for mileage or fuel mileage, you're looking at about 7 miles per gallon in the Southern flatbed or the Bessemer flatbed versus 6.8 for an average in the Midwest flatbed. Shorter length haul, it's going to happen. More stopping and starting. But the truck payment is $675 a week in both divisions. So what we pay per mile, and which is actually a percentage, we pay 72% of load. So what you're paid for the truck and what the truck payment is going to be the same for both divisions. But again, different style of running. Where with most of the flatbed in the Midwest, you are home every other weekend. And let me make sure I just said that. In Bessemer, you're home every other weekend. And most of the running areas out of Fort Dodge, out of the Midwest terminal, then you're home almost every week. So make sure I said that again. Bessemer, most areas home every other weekend, and in the Midwest, weekly. There we go. Whew, I made it. If you're in Alabama or Georgia, we can get you home on a weekly basis. But again, if you're cutting loads short, that's going to affect your weekly take home. So with miles, let's talk about miles for the Bessemer division. So thanks, Anna. Appreciate you putting that info in there. So with the Bessemer division, you're looking, we're going to kind of round it off of percentages again, obviously 72% of the load. We're looking at about $3,200 a week for what you would be making, or what the company would be making off of it, and you're getting that 72%, which would bring you to about $3,000 a week, just under $3,000 a week for gross income. You start to take down the deductions, which roughly, based off of the miles that you're expecting, would put you about $1,800 for total deduction, total insurance, lease payments, expenses, all of that. That's going to put you to about anywhere from 12 to up and away. Like we've got guys that are doing the 1,700 real consistently. Take home. Sean was telling me yesterday, he had some that was even up into 4,700. Now I haven't seen those, but most of them that I'm seeing are around 24 to 27. So, and that's what he was getting. So take home, I'm usually seeing that, let me rephrase that, 24 to 27 is usually what I'm seeing before the taxes, income taxes and stuff like that are coming out, whereas he was making quite a bit more than that. But with the Southern flatbed, you can, 1,700 is extremely reasonable, and you can expect that on a consistent basis. So, with the Midwest, you're probably looking a little bit less because the miles, again, they're shorter. You're not racking them up so much because you're taking an extra few days every 2 weeks off because you're home. And that one, you're probably looking about $1,300 to $1,500 a week before your income taxes are taken out. So that's after deductions, but still before taxes, income taxes, and FICA and that kind of stuff. So thanks, Anna. Yeah, she's kind of given you a little bit better idea of the home time. So if you check out the chat right now, she's kind of replied in here. If you're looking for the lease purchase and you want to be home on a weekly basis and you live in Iowa, you're sitting good. Iowa area, Kansas City area, and Chicago. Now, depending on where in the Kansas City area, if you're more towards the east, more towards Iowa, then you're getting that weekly home time. If you're thinking about doing flatbed and you're in Washington, Oregon, or California, we can do that. Expect 2 weeks out at a time for that one. Again, that one would be based out of Bessemer, Alabama. Yeah, see, and that's pretty common for, well, I shouldn't say pretty common. So keep the hammer down. The $3,300 a week, it can definitely be common for the over-the-road refrigerated. Not everybody's getting it. You definitely need to keep your left door shut. But we've 27 to 3,200. That's not uncommon. Not uncommon at all. Anything above that, then you know that person is going to do well with the lease purchase. I like to see that. Okie dokie. So what am I missing here? So that is, we've hit on our flatbed and we've hit on our refrigerated for our over-the-road and our Midwestern lease purchase programs. So if you have any questions, you've gotten better than 3,800. That's impressive. Our trucks are governed at 68 on the cruise and 65 on the pedal. So 3,800 miles a week, not too shabby. Oh, okay. Okay. Haven't gotten. Nah, I'm following you. I got you. A little misprint. It's all right. We're good. Still, that's really good. That still is really good. But 65 on the pedal and 68 on the cruise. Better fuel efficiency on the cruise. That's why you can go up a little bit more on that one. Awesome. So again, reminder, you need to run as a company driver for 90 days prior to going into the lease purchase. And you need to have a $1,500 down payment, whether you have that up front or you are transitioning and having that set aside out of your weekly settlements. Either one, that's totally fine. Yeah, that'll top you off a little bit, but still doable. Still definitely doable for that one. Awesome. Now, of course, we've got our company positions as well. So with our company positions, you're looking at over-the-road refrigerated, Midwest refrigerated. We can do weekly home time. We can do guaranteed pay in the Midwest and weekly home time. In the Southeast or in the flatbed terminal and out of Bessemer, we can do weekly home time in Alabama and Georgia. And then you can do every other weekend if you're in the Carolinas along I-95. If you're along 20 or 10 down in Texas to Arkansas, Tennessee, well, Tennessee's not in 10, but Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, all those areas, we can get you home every other weekend for that. All right. Okay, well, I think we've answered pretty much all the questions for the lease purchase program. If you have any questions, if this is something that you are interested in, make sure that you get a hold of one of the recruiters at 888-668-0698. Let's kind of compare what you've got, see if you qualify. When it comes to qualifying for Decker, in order to get into a company position, we're looking for somebody who has a year of experience. And that is in addition, let me rephrase that. If for the lease purchase, we do want to see you have at least 10 months, if not a year of over-the-road experience before you transition into lease purchase. And it is most definitely crucial to your success. If you don't have that year, you might not have enough experience or business savvy in the industry in order to have the success for it. So make sure that you meet that qualification. Again, so with the qualifications for company positions, if you just are a recent graduate or from a PTDI certified school or have a minimum of 3 months of over-the-road tractor trailer experience, you do qualify to become a company driver. We will train you. It's 3 to 5 weeks with a trainer, and then we can have you finish up the training, run solo for a couple of months before you transition into the lease purchase. You need to have at least 10 to 12 months of over the road before you do lease purchase as a company driver or as a driver before you do the lease purchase. Now, company-wise, if you've got experience under your belt, you do need at least 3 months with Decker before you transition to lease purchase. So no major moving violations, tickets like major tickets such as a 15 over ticket or a reckless or careless or erratic driving or erratic lane change, nothing like that in the last 3 years. That would disqualify you for either the company or the lease purchase options. Keep the hammer down. Did you leave me a message? Because I did not get it, but I will. If you left a recruiter, it's 888-668-0698. DUIs, good point. The DUIs need to be a very minimum of 3 years old, and you need to have experience after the DUI. So if you had like 10 years of experience, but then you had a DUI, you've been off for 3 years, you need to have experience on top of that. Bob, you're screwed because you don't have the experience. You're full of malarkey. Or the DUI, because then you're in big trouble. Just because you have that state doesn't mean you have to have something to go with it. No. Keep the hammer down. My direct number, 406-203-4413. If you want to talk to me directly. Otherwise, the recruiting number is the 888-668-0698. But I'll go back through and see what I missed. Got an upgrade on my phone system yesterday because I was missing some calls. So that way we are good to go and I won't have that problem. You did not, Bob. Did you really get a 15 over? Yeah, Anthony, I didn't get a call from you. Well, I'll do some checking. Bob, you better not have. That's not good. Weird. Well, like I said, Anthony, I did just get I upgraded the phone yesterday afternoon. So that's probably why. That is not funny. I hope you didn't get that. That's no good. But Anthony, I'm going to call you here in just a moment, okay? I'm going to call you. Here we go. Well, that's what I'm here for. I will answer that. I will call you and we'll get that figured out. Bob, fight that. Fight that ticket. I have a feeling you are pulling my leg on that one, but if not, All right, don't forget to apply directly online, drivedecker.com. Bob. Thank you, Anthony, for being part of this as well. The two of you. If you need anything, get a hold of the recruiter, 888-668-0698, or apply directly online. And I hope this answered your guys' questions if you didn't already. Thank you. Keep the hammer down. Thank you, Anthony, for giving us some of the information on our over-the-road refrigerated division so that we had some decent numbers to refer to. Now, that's directly from one of our guys here at the terminal. I don't want to find it. Dang it. You fight that, Bob. Yeah, you don't want that on your record. You're probably trying to get to a steakhouse, weren't you? That's what you get for rubbing that in the other day. All right. Okay. Well, thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and follow us on Facebook. We will have our Monday Minute next Monday. I'll put an announcement out what we'll be discussing at that time. If you have something that you would like discussed during our Monday Minute, please, which is our live Q&A, please go ahead and, of course, join us or message me on Facebook so that I can prepare something for you with more information. Oh, no. You are serious? All right. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Today is Tuesday, so you've got a few more days to get some miles under your belt and safely. Stay safe. Thanks, you guys. You take care.